We all good?
Alright, all good.
Sweet.
Alright, here we go. 4th episode, Sports on Tap podcast. And we're probably going to be in for a very long one. But a lot of talking points this week is what it is. So as I just said, episode 4, Sports on Tap. And we're not going to waste too much time because we've got a lot of talking points to get through. And it's currently 11 p.m. at night.
Yep.
And yes, some people have got stuff to do tomorrow. So, jump straight into it. Obviously, start off the podcast with our round 2 recap. Onyx, what were your thoughts on that second round?
It was very good. Like, honestly, I would say it's like, I'm very happy we're getting very good footy this early. Especially that fucking Storms and, the Storms and Wales match. That Xavier Coates end try winning me. I'm trying not to be biased, but it's hard to be biased with that great of a try winning me a lot of money. That game-ending, game-winning try, so... But it was amazing. I really liked this round.
It was amazing. Yes, it was actually a very good round. We saw a lot of very, very good games. A couple of comebacks. High quality footy. And interesting enough, all home teams won for the first time since 2017 or 18, I believe. I think it was 2018 that all home teams have won. So we'll go through round 2 recap, take a quick look at the ladder, and then jump over to round 3. So the first game, Brisbane Broncos 28, Bunnies 18. Good game. I think that second half was probably the best.
Yeah, oh yeah. Definitely the highlight.
Definitely the highlight was that second half. 12-0 at halftime, bit boring. But then second half tries just kept on coming. There was six tries in that second half. Wingers of the Bronx, both wingers and Reece Walsh. And then the Bunnies come out of halftime strong. They scored 2 tries in 5 minutes, both from back-to-back sets, which is pretty good. But I don't know, the Bunnies in that second half, they just weren't on. The first half, they just weren't on at all. Like, their attack was poor. They did hold the Broncos off from a lot of try-scoring opportunities. The Broncos should have easily scored about 2-3 more.
Yeah, to be fair, there was errors on both sides for the first half of that game. Broncos were better, but I also feel like they weren't up to snuff compared to, like, their 2023 form, you know? Lots of errors too, but obviously the Bunnies were not, like, as good, but still.
There was 15 errors to 14 in favour of the Broncos, so completion rate was poor for both teams, 69% to the Broncos compared to 65% for the Bunnies. So, as you said, there are a lot of errors, but just that first half, Broncos should have had more tries, had a lot of try-scoring opportunities, especially when Damien Cook went to the sin bin during the 29th minute. So it really could have been, probably easily could have been at least 40 to 8, to even 20. Bunnies did have a lot of try-scoring opportunities, but once again, they couldn't capitalize. So we could have been at least 40-30 in favor of the Bronx, maybe more. But either way, Bronx got the job done. And then Friday night games, the Cronulla Sharks took care of things 25-6. That first half was close battle. Close battle was Dogs scored first, and then Braden Trindle responded. 6 at half time. Do you reckon that the Dogs could have won that game if they played like they did in the first half?
Honestly, I think it's more just because how, like, the Sharks weren't as good in the first half as they were in the second half, if I'm being honest. They definitely picked it up a lot more in the second half, so it's tough. I don't know. I reckon it really depends how if the Sharkies played the same in the second half as they did in the first half. So you would have to kind of apply the question for both sides, really.
Yeah, I mean, like the commentator said at halftime in that game, both sides had a lot of try scoring opportunities that should have been 4 tries to 2 or 4 tries to 3 in favour of the Doggies, but both sides' defence was good. Speaking of defence, Nico Hines made some unbelievable tackles. He even stopped the big man of Billy Allen Kickout, who should have scored a lot of tries, but just Nico Hines was always there for his defence. I'm pretty sure he made about 20 odd tackles, 23 tackles it was actually. Only missed the 4. But Nico, I reckon if it wasn't for Nico's defence, I think that Sharks don't win by 19. I reckon they win by about a try or 2. But
Yeah.
speaking of try, Mulatalo's 67th-minute try was very good. Short side play. One of the big forwards, I think it might have been Wilton, flick out the back, left hand flick, short side play, setting up Ronaldo for his try. So good game that one.
Oh yeah.
Sharks took care of business. Then we finish off with Parramatta and the Panthers. Para falling short to the Penrith Panthers. The Parramatta Eels, they did score early on in the second minute, and me personally, I thought after that first try in the second minute, I thought Para would have demolished Penrith because their attack looked very, very strong with the Eels, and especially their halves between Brown and Moses. I thought Para would have absolutely obliterated the Panthers after that first try, but then the Panthers scored 3 straight tries, I think, and then they just ran away with it. But Para, just like the Bunnies with their first half, the second half, Parramatta in that second half, it's like they just didn't turn up. No points scored at all. The defense was a bit poor, but their attack, they just couldn't. Same with the Dogs, they should have had more tries, but they just let it slip away, Parramatta. But they scored just before halftime through Jermaine Hopgood to give them the lead, and I thought that was a bit of a lot of momentum for Parramatta into the second half. I don't know. I just thought Para would have had it, but hey, just like we said, you can't never diss out the 3-time champs.
Yeah.
So Para took care of business. Penrith took care of business there. And then Saturday games, Raiders, of course, they took care of the West Tigers, 32-12. And then what a final 2 games of Saturday were terrific. The Newcastle Knights and the North Queensland Cowboys. Knights were up 20 to 10 at this stage, one stage in the second half, but once again, they just let it slip away, the Knights. So, but one player though, Valentine Holmes did not even both these teams didn't have the best afternoon with the ball. Valentine Holmes, I think he got 4 errors in this game.
Yeah, Valentine's kicking was pretty awful. It was awful.
Pretty horrendous. So it was very, very poor. I reckon one of the worst games that Val has ever played. And on their completion rate, it was 71% to 78 in favour of the Knights. The Cowboys only completed 37 out of 52 sets. They had 52 sets, the Cowboys, and they only completed 37 and somehow managed to score 21 points. I don't know. I just think that 52 sets, and he only scored 21 points. I just think that's very poor, especially from a side like the Cowboys, because we all know that they can easily put points on the board. They can score tries just like that. But I don't know. I just think that's pretty poor from a side like the Cowboys, and like I said, 4 errors from Holmes. Just very, very poor. And not just Holmes, both teams actually were very, very poor. on their errors, 15-12 in favour of the Cowboys. So, bit of a sloppy game, but Cowboys got up 21-20. And then, well, Onyx, I think I should let you talk about this one. 30-26, Xavier Coates. Unreal.
It
Unreal.
was it was something like I made a little funny joke with my coworker today. I was obviously it's a joke, but I was like I'm trying to decide which one was worse. The Broncos in the last 15 minutes of the grand final or the Warriors in the last 5 minutes against the Storms.
Oh,
Obviously,
pretty obvious.
obviously it's
Grand
obvious, but I
final.
was just trying to piss off my
I mean, that's just.
coworker who's a Warriors fan, but it was
I mean,
funny.
the Wars, they did have it.
Yeah,
They did trail
they
from
did look
18 to
good.
6.
Yeah, they did look good.
They just let it slip away there in that last 2 minutes. I mean, we saw Pappenhausen's double from outside inside ball. I
Mm.
think all teams need to pay attention to that from now on because we saw it from. I'm pretty sure it was Manly or the Roosters. It was the Roosters. They tried running that exact play with James Tedesco outside inside, but Manly read it well. So I think we might see a lot of outside inside plays now, especially with Pappenhausen scoring that double.
Mm.
Both his tries actually did come from outside inside, but the Wars, they were down 18-6 at halftime. They scored 20 unanswered points to put them up 26-18, but then, like we said, they slipped it. They just let it slip the Wars
Mm.
to obviously the greatest try we've ever seen. Probably try of the century,
Oh yeah,
potentially. So,
it's definitely up there
Xavier
for a
Coates
try of
is
all
just a
time.
freak. He is an absolute freak. So, Storm took care of business, and probably, I'm going to say, the greatest game we've ever seen. Hands down, greatest rugby league game we've ever seen. Yeah,
Mm.
we saw that comeback, greatest try of all time, a great set play with Pappenhausen. So I reckon good game that was. And then Sunday, fly through it. Manly took care of business over the Roosters 21-14.
Mm.
And then the Dolphins with a huge turnaround, 38-0, took care of business against the Dragons at Redcliffe.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
Hamiso, he was just on fire this game, was Hamiso.
Mm.
He scored a hat trick, player of the game. He even saved a try from Tyrell Sloan in the corner.
Mm.
So that is the Dolphins' biggest win in their history. Most amount of points they've put in their history. First time they've kept the team to nil as well. So big turnaround from the Dolphins and a big turnaround from the Dragons.
Mm.
So that's the round two recap and new segment. We got a new segment for this podcast is more, which is moment of the round. So Onyx, we've already been through your moment around, but go through it
Mm.
again. Your
Well,
more moment.
I'm gonna have to go with Xavier Coates. That was a freak of nature. That fucking try. And obviously, I'm gonna be a little bit biased, even though without the bet on, probably would still be my moment of the round. But just winning that money, having the Storms to win, and Xavier Coates for a try it was something. It was something.
It was very, very good. Now, I would have gone with the same moment of the round, but I think it'd be fair not if we both had separate ones. So my moment of the round will be Reece Walsh's two try performance versus the Bunnies. He was on that game. I think he absolutely tortured the Bunnies. Not just with his two tries were fairly simple. I think the first one though, Bunnies could have done a bit more defense because
Mm.
Reece Walsh was just running rings around the Bunnies on that first try. Went to running towards the sideline, got past three defenders, and he saw an easy gap, and he just took him on. And 10 meters out, no one's going to stop Reece Walsh 10 meters out,
Mm.
especially with the speed and footwork that he's got. His ability, his playmaking, his footwork, control. When Reece Walsh is 10 meters from the line at full pace, I don't think anyone's going to stop him.
Mm.
And then obviously his second try No idea what Latrell was doing, but he just let the ball go straight to Reese to give him his second try. So that's my moment of the round. Reese Walsh's try double. So we'll have to see for round 3.
Mm.
So round 3 preview this time. So we start things off. Like I just said it before we even started the podcast. Round 3 is going to be a very good weekend of football.
Mm.
And we start things off with a grand final rematch. The Penrith Panthers taking on the Brisbane Broncos. And a lot to come out of this game, which we'll get to a bit shortly. So we'll go through the team list. So most of it stays the same. Edwards, Walsh, main fullbacks. The wingers stay the same for both sides. But halfback, no Adam Reynolds this week. He has copped a knee injury coming out of last week's game as through Rabbitohs. So young Jock Madden will play probably one of the biggest games of his life so far in a grand final rematch down in Penrith. He'll go up against the masterclass grand finalist himself, Nathan Cleary. Forward pack stays the same, but Payne Haas, who's been ruled out today with a knee injury, and he has been ruled out for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which we'll get to a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings Fletcher Baker. Fletcher Baker will jump into starting 17, and that chucks Xavier Willison onto the bench, which I know a lot of Broncos fans are excited to see Willison on the bench. I know I am for sure. I just think that he should have been in there over Marty Tapau. But fortunate news for him, obviously with the Payne Haas out. So not much, only those 2 major changes. Everything else, no changes from both teams. So 7 o'clock p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night. Friday night games. Warriors will play their first home game in Christchurch versus the top of the table Canberra Raiders. Same old for both teams. Tuapiki and Rapinoe at the fullbacks. Rapinoe did actually pass his head last week versus the Tigers late in that second half. Wingers obviously stay the same. Not much changes from Andrew Webster and Ricky Stewart's side. The only out is Sebastian Kris for the Raiders. That's the only out from both teams. And Elliot Whitehead and Zach Wilford are the main ins for the Raiders. And it's huge for Elliot Whitehead back in as the captain of this club. So, like I said, no main changes from the starting 17s from last week. So, Raiders kick things off. And we jump over to a Sydney derby. It is the Roosters and the Bunnies.
The biggest
What a
rivalry.
game this is going to be. Yeah, the biggest rivalry in NRL history, ahead of the Broncos and the Cowboys. So lots of changes. Obviously, there's a major changes for the Bunnies, but I'm keen for this clash. James Tedesco and Latrell Mitchell in the fullback. Wingers stay the same, Tupou, Johnson, Young and Milne. And then we get to the centres. Mr. Jack Wyden. He will make his debut for the Bunnies, which we'll get onto a bit later. But Dean Hawkins jumps into the starting halfback over young Lockie Ilias, who a lot of fans would have thought that there would have been changes with Jack Wyden jumping into 6 and Walker at 7. But Demetrio has proved everyone wrong, jumping young Dean Hawkins in at 7 and keeping Ilias on the bench. And the only major change that's to be spoken about, obviously, apart from Jack Wyden and Hawkins, with a Luke Keary has been ruled out with a HIA Category 2. So he's got ruled out for that game. Saturday Arvo footy, Bulldogs and the Titans. Still no Jaden Campbell or David Fafita for the Titans. So they keep their same 17. And Kieran Foran actually jumps back in after missing round 1. Bulldogs, no major changes. And then we jump over Dragons and the Cowboys. Once again, not too much changes. The only major change is that Helium Lukey out for the Cowboys for the next 4 to 6 weeks with that ankle injury. Francis Molo has been suspended for his high shot last week, and Jacob Little out. And second rower Luciano Leilua obviously signed to the Dragons before the season. He'll go up against his former club for the first time this season. And then to round off Saturday, a bit of a boring matchup unless you're a fan of these teams, Tigers and the Sharks. Tigers looking to get their first win of 2024. Sharks looking to stay undefeated in 2024, which they should. Justin Arnold will play his first game in Tigers colours into the centres. And Royce Hunt jumps back into the side for the Sharks with Britton Nicola and Safa Toa only major outs. And then Sunday's blockbusters, we got Parramatta and Manly Seagulls. Para looking to bounce back from a loss to Penrith. And Manly looking to stay undefeated after their 2 huge wins. Fullback is going to be a good battle between Gutherson and Tom Trbojevic, 2 New South Welshmen. And also a good battle in the halves, Dylan Brown, Luke Brooks, Mitchell Moses, Cherry Evans. Especially on the wingers, Morgan Harper up against Raymond Veiga, who's a young rookie, and Russell versus Jackson Barlow. So, second rowers, Sean Lane, Ola Kawatu. That's going to be a great matchup in the second rower. And same with Bryce Cartwright versus Ben Trbojevic. And of course, the locks, Jermaine Hopgood and Jake Trbojevic. Trbojevic, New South Wales lock up against a Queensland lock in Jermaine Hopgood off the bench. So that's to kick off Sunday. And then finishing off, Newcastle Knights up against the Melbourne Storm. Down there in Newcastle, obviously still no Cam Muncie, he's been ruled out. And Jerome Hughes has been suspended for 1 match from his push on the referee, who no idea why he got suspended.
Yeah, that's a bit baffling.
Yeah, I mean, Warriors would have scored if Hughes didn't push the ref out the way. But as all the fans say, if that was Luai, he would have just copped a fine. Speaking of Luai, actually, his trip on one of the para players, Mitchell Moses, he didn't get suspended for it. He only copped a $3,000 fine, which I think is very, very controversial. He should have copped an easy 1-game suspension. I think he should not be playing this weekend versus the Broncos. That just shows, the Panthers. Sorry to say it, but the Panthers are protected in the NRL. So the Storm missing their halves. And that's only the major changes for the Storm. And obviously no Christian Welch. But for the Knights, no Greg Marshall and no Jackson Hastings, who has been axed from the team. Jack Cogger will jump into starting halfback. And Jackson Hastings into the reserves. So those are the games and team lists. So to preview it, grand final rematch. Onyx, Penrith Panthers, Brisbane Broncos. No Payne Haas and Adam Reynolds. No Fish Harris for the Pars. Still a good way to kick off Thursday night footy.
Oh yeah, 100%. The grand final rematch. I just wish both teams were at full strength, especially the Broncos. But it's still gonna be a cracker of a game. I'm so excited for it.
It is going to be a cracker of a game, and like we said, no Reno, no Payne Haas. Payne Haas out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Reno most likely out just for this week. He is expected to be named in the 17 next week when the Bronx play the Cowboys. So, grand final rematch. Obviously, we all know what happened last season. Now that the both teams aren't full strength, everyone's expecting the Panthers to just shut Brisbane. They just whack them out of the park. But now that Haas and Reno are out, I don't know. I still feel like Broncos. They still do have a good team in Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, Katoni Staggs, Ezra Mam. I reckon that backline backline of the Bronx will still trouble the Panthers. I reckon, but like you said earlier off podcast, the Panthers are going to dominate the Bronx middle, especially now that Payne Haas is gone.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you there. Looking at the forwards line, you got Moses Leota, Lindsay Smith, Scott Sorensen, Man Yo, and Kenny versus Corey Jensen, Billy Walters, Fletcher Baker, Pierre Kura, Ricky Carrigan. I feel like in order for the Bronx to win this forward battle without Payne, it's got to be the second rowers and the lock.
Oh
Pierre
yeah.
Kura, Ricky Carrigan have to step up if they want to win this forward pack battle against a major one in the Penrith Panthers. So far the Panthers are going to should win the forward battle, but like I said, it's going to be the second rowers and Paddy Carrigan to step up in order to win this forward battle. But like I said, I feel like the Broncos are still going to trouble. The Broncos' backs are still going to trouble the Penrith Panthers, especially with that deadly footwork of Reece Walsh, as I mentioned earlier. I just feel like him and Ezra Mam need to have a connection in this game. Obviously, Renault is going to be running. Renault normally runs as the main playmaker, but now that he's out, I feel like Ezra Mam's got to step into his boots and play the number one man that he is. If it's not going to be Ezra, it's 100% got to be Reece Walsh. I have a feeling that Kevy's going to run Reece as the main guy, main kicker. He's been confirmed to be our goal kicker, but I think he's got to do all the kicking work between him and Madden. Leave Ezra out of it, I reckon. Only run Ezra for a chipping chase or a grubber. That would be my take, because I feel like Ezra is deadly on a chip and chase or grubber, because he always sets up his wingers, his centers, and he runs himself on a chip and chase. We saw a lot of it last year with Renault to Ezra and Ezra to Herbie. So we saw a lot of that last year. So I reckon leave Ezra to a chip and chase and just let Walsh and Madden just do all the punts and the bombs and everything. So I reckon that Walsh has got to be the number one guy for the Bronx in order to win this game. So even though the big names are out, I still reckon we're in for a bit of a cracking game in that one. So, and then we jump over the Waz sellout crowd. Back-to-back games where the Waz have sold out a game in Christchurch. They don't really take games to Christchurch for the Warriors, but at a bit of a small stadium. I don't think you've heard it, but the Christchurch are building a brand new indoor stadium which will hold about 30,000 people, and that'll be open by 2025, I believe. I think it's either 25 or 26 that it'll be open by. So they're building a brand new indoor stadium to hold 30,000 people, which will be very, very good for the Warriors, because they will take about 3 to 4 games to Christchurch once their stadium's been opened up. Even being indoor too, but to fill 10,000 seats in I wouldn't say a not known stadium. Like it is known for their rugby union with the Crusaders, obviously in their history, but in a not known stadium for league, even though it is a rugby league park, to fill 10,000 seats is very good for the Waz, I reckon.
Oh yeah.
So they got another sellout crowd, and especially against a team like the Raiders. We saw what happened last year between these two clubs. It was an all-out battle, 21-20, and probably arguably game of the year. At the time, it was a battle for top 4. Raiders were just outside the top 4, and the Waz were inside the top 4. So I reckon, honestly, it came down to that game on who makes the top 4 between the Waz and the Raiders. But I don't know. We're going to be in for a real treat. Waz fans are going to be in for a real treat, especially in a sellout crowd. But it's going to go either way for sure. And then, of course, got the Sydney Derby, the NRL's greatest rivalry, the Sydney Roosters and the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And we'll let you go on about this one because I know you're excited. Jackie Whiten, his first game in Bunnies colours.
Yeah, got Mr. Whiten in, and also got Ilias out basically. So we've got Dean Hawkins replacing him. It's gonna be interesting. I hope it works well, but it's a little bit worrying as a Bunnies fan how where the club is at the moment. Obviously they're in a bit of a not so great situation. Shambles is probably the better words for it. Yeah.
I mean,
honestly, we really need this win. That's why I think Bunnies will win this one. We need it more than the Roosters, way more.
And they're going to be hungry for it too. Obviously, you don't want to start this, especially like a club like the Bunnies. They wouldn't want to start the season off 0-3.
Yeah.
Especially after what happened in last year. But going up against a strong Roosters side, who obviously won in Vegas and only lost by 7 to a strong Manly side. Bunnies are going to be hungry for it. But, yeah, I mean, I know all Bunnies fans are excited to see Whiten. Now, you as a Bunnies fan, are you happy with Whiten in the centres for now? Or would you be happier seeing him and Walker in the halves?
I would rather see him in the centres just because in the Raiders, he was a good ball handler, but I feel like he would have been better I feel like he's more suited for centres here because we definitely need more of a, you know what I mean, more of a packer punch, and also
he's a very good ball runner too.
Yeah, more of
even in the centres.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did obviously played centre at the back end of 2023 with Canberra to get him used to playing in the centres again. Because obviously he did play a bit of fullback as well at the Raiders. So if Latrell's out for a certain amount of time, they do have Jack Whiten, which they could potentially chuck Jack Whiten at fullback, and then bring back Lockie Ilias into the halfback. And you reckon Dean's going to go good at halfback this season, or this game, sorry?
I hope he does. I feel
He's got a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, same as Whiten. I'm a little bit worried that the pressure might get to those two because there is a lot of pressure from everyone at the moment on those two. So I just hope they don't let the pressure get to them because there is a lot of pressure on them. So it's going to be interesting. I hope they go well. I really do because we really do need good news right now.
They did, and like you said earlier, what did the Bunnies win? 3 of their last 15?
Yeah,
4 of their last 15?
Yeah, so 3 of the last, or 4 of the last, we've only won 3 or 4 of the last 15 NRL games.
And that dates back to last year too.
Yeah.
So, Bunnies, they're gonna need to be in for a massive year in 2024, and if they start off 0-3, well, they could be in some shambles. The Rabbitohs, and looking at their draw ahead, I mean they got 3 straight at home against the Dogs, Waz, Sharks. So they 2 out of their 3 should win. I think the Sharks is going to be a bit of a battle. Going to be a 50-50 battle, especially the way that the Cronulla have been playing right now. But hey, it's like we said with games last week, it's a 50-50 game, but obviously we'll get to that closer at the time. So yeah, Barney's going to be in for a huge game. And then the Titans, they are fresh off their bye last week. Now, Gold Coast, a lot of people, even myself, would have had them in the top 8 on their predictor before the season began. I know it's only been 1 game, but do you reckon the Titans can still play finals footy?
The way they're playing right now, absolutely not. What they're playing, that game, the last game they played was it was pretty putrid. It was not good against the Dragons. The Dragons looked significantly better. So right now, absolutely not. But of course, they can pick it up. It's possible. Nothing is impossible, especially in rugby league. So.
Well, I mean, I saw a comment on the NRL post after the Dolphins Dragons game that this is why you don't count teams out until about. This is why you don't. Yeah, we'll count teams out until it gets to about round 5 to 8 or eight-ish.
Yeah.
That's when you start to get a real look on who's playing at what level.
Yeah.
Like, say if the Bunnies are, 2 and 6 at round 8, that's when you start to get a feel about, okay, what changes need to be made. Is it, is it Walker, is he playing putrid, does Jason need to say, put a bit of pressure on him and be like, you got a couple games to perform, but, you wouldn't want that in the New South Wales, potential New South Wales 5-8 this season. So, yeah, I mean, once round 8 comes, I reckon we'll get a better understanding of, what teams are at, and especially the Titans. Like I said, I had them making the top 8 for the season even started, but after that round 1 performance, losing 24 in front of a Gold Coast crowd, fresh off a bye, you get veteran Kieran Foran back, but you go down to Belmore, they're passionate Bulldogs fans in Belmore, so it's going to be interesting for the Titans to see how they come off their bye. So I reckon Titans need a win here, or else I know it's round 3, but else their season could already be in shambles for 2024. But speaking of the Dragons, like we said, they host the Cowboys. Dragons, they just played shocking against the Finns.
Oh yeah.
Like you saw the way both teams played in round 1. Everyone was expecting the Dragons to go to Redcliffe and just steamroll through the Finns, but it was the other way around. Finns bounced back massively, and the Dragons were like Michael Ennis said in game. The Dragons' defense have been very, very poor. Like they did not turn up at all, and I don't know, just the Finns, they were just on fire. Obviously, with Hamiso scoring his hat trick. Just the Dragons, I don't know. There's just something about them that they win up until April, and then once April comes, they just start falling massively. Because we've seen that in recent seasons. I know 2020, I think, in 2021, they started April. They were in second, I think. And then after April, they just slipped down all the way to like 15th or 14th. So I think the pressure is already on St. George Illawarra.
Oh yeah.
I think they need to perform, but everyone's expecting the Cowboys to steamroll through the Dragons. But I think the Dragons need to have a good performance here, in order to keep their season alive. Like I said with the Titans, they lose against the Dogs, their season's probably in the shambles already, even though it's round 3. But the Dragons, I think their season's also going to be in shambles if they lose to the Cowboys by a certain amount. And the Cowboys play. I do reckon, if both teams play like they did last week, this is probably going to be 12-0 to the Cowboys. I do believe that it's going to be 12-0 Cowboys if both teams play the way they did last week. But the Cowboys, they're a very good try-scoring team. They proved that in round 1.
Oh yeah.
But round 1, they didn't have too much errors. But I feel like the Cowboys need to work on their completion rate. Like I said, finishing off with 71%, having 52 total sets. I just think the Cowboys need a lot to work on with their completion rate and passing.
Yeah.
But like I say, they can score tries whenever they want. You got Drinkwater, Nane, Cotter, Taulagi, Felt, Holmes. Anyone on that team can score a try.
Oh yeah.
So, the Dragons, they're going to need a big performance here out of this game. And Cronulla, they've got the easiest draw, and they go to Leichhardt against the Tigers. it should be an easy steamroll for Cronulla, especially where they played the first two games.
Mm.
So not too much important out of that game. But such a steamroll. And then Sunday, what a blockbuster we have to start things off on. Next Sunday, Parramatta and Manly.
Oh yeah.
What a game this is set to be. And like we said with Parramatta, their second half defense, their second half attack was poor. But I reckon they're going to bounce back here against Manly, and they're going to be out for a fight.
Oh yeah.
I think that even the way that Manly have been starting the season, obviously winning against the Bunnies, winning against the Roosters. Bunnies was 36 points, Roosters were 21. So we know that they've scored more than 20, even though it's in two games. But this is going to be an absolute blockbuster of a game. Manly, I think they got to play the same way that they did in Vegas in that second half. Because Manly only had, 12 points in that first half.
Yeah.
It should have been 6, but Jason Saab got that intercept. So technically, it should have been 10-6 half time, and they scored that 30 points. But I think Manly, after round 2, I think they're a team to beat in 2024.
Oh,
I
100%.
genuinely believe. You got Tom Trbojevic, you even got young gun Luke Brooks, who has been sensational in his first two games. And I was actually reading a comment. Michael Maguire was saying that he's going to pick informed players for the Blues. So no one is safe. So meaning that Tedesco is not safe at all. Cleary is not safe at all. That he's going to go based on informed players. So Tedesco is not playing the best. Say Drinkwater's playing being the best fullback. He's going to take Drinkwater over Tedesco. Is what he's trying to say. If Cleary is playing absolutely poor and Mitchell Moses having a breakout season, he's obviously going to take Mitchell Moses. So
yeah,
it's going to be very good. And on that comment, Luke Brooks has been on fire in his first two games. So if Luke Brooks continues the way that he's playing, and Madge is making that comment, we could potentially see Luke Brooks play State of Origin footy in 2024. And, he's a lot of people joke around with him, but this could probably be obviously it's going to be a big accomplishment for Luke Brooks, but imagine the fans if Luke Brooks gets named in that team. Right, everyone is going to go off their head if Luke Brooks plays Origin footy. So I don't think he would get a starting spot, though. I think Cody Walker should get it, especially in form. But if he's going by in form, I reckon Luke Brooks should probably be the starting 5'8" for the Blues. But for Manly, though, they're missing Tommy Talau, who did get named in the reserves, but he's not going to play with his HIA. So they chucked Raymond Vega. But the thing that catches my eye is the fullback battle. Clint Gutherson, Tom Trbojevic, two huge players for their clubs and two huge New South Welshmen. Who do you reckon wins the fullback battle?
It's like you say, it's gonna be a battle, but honestly, like a little inside of my multi, I do have Gutherson for a sneaky little try here, so I don't know, I might be leaning towards Gutherson, but it is gonna be a battle. It is gonna be a battle.
I mean, we obviously see what Tom Trbojevic can do. He proved that back in 2021 with his historic individual brilliance. But I reckon in order for Manly to win this game, Tom has to play exactly like he did in 2021 that entire season.
Oh, yeah.
Even though that Manly have been on fire in their first two, and, Para have been on fire as well, they should have won against Penrith. Imagine if these teams started off 2-0. Imagine if Para got up last week. Everyone would have been talking about this game if Para got up last week. they would not much would have been said about the grand final rematch. Everyone's
Oh,
attention would have been to
100%.
this game, I reckon.
Oh,
If Para won last week, but
yeah.
like I say, Manly want to win. Tom has to play like it in 2021.
Mm.
But I'm just keen for that fullback matchup. And there's a lot of matchups that is looking very good. The halves battle, Brown Moses versus Brooks and Cherry Evans.
Mm.
But I reckon one of the biggest matchups is going to be in the second row. Sean Lane versus Ola Kawatu.
Ooh.
Now, Ola Kawatu he hasn't played Origin footy yet. Some say that he was robbed of playing Origin footy in 2023, and I do agree. Ola Kawatu is the best second rower in the game. I'm going to say that now. He's the best second rower in the game.
Whoa.
He is just the stuff that he does on the field. He's literally a pain horse in the second row. He can break tackles. He can take. We saw it last week. He took on 3 defenders from the 10-meter line and he'd gone to the in goal. He was held up, but we saw the same thing in Vegas. 10 meters out, he took on 4 Bunnies defenders and he scored a try. He is an absolute freak. He can score tries when he wants. Just like I said with the Reece Walsh, 10 meters out, you can't stop him. Ola Kawatu, don't even bother trying to stop him from 10 meters out. Because either 1, this is the most obvious thing, he's going to score a try. 2, you're probably going to injure yourself if you try and stop Ola Kawatu 10 meters out. So, he is an absolute freak, and I'm going to say it again, best second row in the game by a mile. Like, he's literally the second rower version of Payne Haas. Absolute freak is Ola Kawatu, and going up against a tall freak like Sean Lane. Like I said, he's tall. He's an absolute freak. He's a half of the forwards. He can play like a halfback. His passing is good. His playmaking is good. Try scoring ability is good. So I reckon that second row clash is going to be good. And then even in the locks, you got a Queensland bench player as a lock up against New South Wales starting lock and Jake Trbojevic. Well, not starting lock, but former starting lock. All right, that's going to be a very good battle.
Oh, yeah.
Hopgood versus Trbojevic. So we're in for a very, very good game on Saturday. So, and then final game, a lot of talking points from this game. Knights and the Storm. 2 big ones would be obviously no Munster and Hughes. So the inexperience of Peasant and Wishart. What do you think of the halves? Like, you reckon it'll be enough to carry the Storm over the line, or do you think it's going to have to be Ryan to help the Storm win this game?
Oh, 100%. It's got to be Ryan to help. I reckon Ryan will help. It's tough. I've been back and forth about who's going to win this one, but if Storms is to win this, it would have to be Ryan carrying in as the fullback. So it's going to be tough. But if Storms are winning this, I would say Ryan would have to carry a little bit.
Yeah, I reckon Ryan's going to have to play like he did in that 2022 grand final. Same with Trbojevic to beat the Para. He's got to play like it in 2021. I think Ryan's got to play like he did in that 2020 grand final. He's just got to be on fire. And going up against the former Dally M winner, Kalen Ponga, that fullback matchup is, you got a 2023 Dally M winner versus 2020 Clive Churchill medalist. You can't name a better fullback matchup than that at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this is going to be a game to watch for sure. And, there's halves of Peasant and Wishart there. Saw Jonah, he played pretty well last week in the place of Munster. I think the halves are too inexperienced.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't get much game time unless the 2 mains are out, like Munster and Hughes. So just that inexperience of the halves. Like we said, Ryan's got to carry it. I just don't think it's good enough. But Knights, on the other hand, Jackson Hastings has gone from the team. He's been axed for the week. And I've been saying this ever since I had the news Monday morning. The Knights have dropped the wrong half.
Oh yeah.
They have easily dropped the wrong half. Gamble had to go. It's just Jackson Hastings. He's a very good halfback. He is probably one of the best. He's definitely in the top 10 for sure. But they dropped the wrong one. Gamble, he's not the best half. I'm going to say this. Broncos built him. Tyson leaving the Bronx, I think, has ruined his career. I just got to say it. It's ruined his career. He's been on and off for the Knights. He's been alright. Not the best. But,
Yeah.
like I said, I just keep saying it. They've dropped the wrong half. And they've chucked Jack Cogger into the halfback role. But I just think they should have gone Jack at 6 and then Jackson Hastings at 7. So that is a huge, huge talking point from them coming out of Newcastle. So Hastings axed. Unfortunate for him. Hastings is actually one of my favorite players in the NRL. His ball playing, his playmaking is good. Like we saw last week, he set up Greg Margie from a grubber kick. He spotted Kyle Felt out of the line and trying to go for an intercept. He faked it, and then he grubber kicked to Greg Margie all on his own. So his playmaking is unreal, his vision is unreal. And like I said, man, I'll say it again, they've dropped the wrong half. Well, I don't know what Adam O'Brien's doing, but hey, unfortunate for Jackson. Hopefully he comes in next week. I don't want to be mean, but I hope Gamble plays bad so Jackson can jump back in. Just because I feel for the young bloke. But I don't know, man. If I'm Adam O'Brien, I've already regret my decision of dropping Jackson.
Yeah.
And he did actually say on Tuesday that Adam asked him if he wanted to train with the New South Wales Cup side. Jackson said no, and he went straight home afterwards. So you can obviously tell the frustration that Jackson is feeling. I don't blame him. I would too. I wouldn't want to, not that I wouldn't want to train with the New South Wales Cup side, but I think he knows that he's been dropped by accident. So, I don't know. Say it again, they've dropped the wrong half, but Tyson should not be playing this weekend. So, that's good. Predictions. So, as we approach the end, predictions. So, to kick things off, as we said it before, it is the Penrith Panthers versus the Brisbane Broncos. So the Panthers, I think they're $1.25 to the Broncos, $4 who wins this.
I'm gonna say Panthers. Honestly, like if Payne Haas was in, I'd be more willing towards Broncos. Well, I just have to tip the Panthers. It's just, I think they'll win the forward pack battle, and I think like you said, they'll have to rely on probably like Reece Walsh, Ezra Mann, and like it's gonna be a good game to watch. I think Broncos is being sold a little bit short of $4. It makes sense, but it's gonna be a cracker game.
Yeah, I mean before the Payne-Haas news, they're at $3.37, and now the Payne-Haas is ruled out, and their line was at 8.5. Line's gone back up to 10.5, and Bronx back up to $4. But I'm gonna stick with my team. I'm gonna go to the Bronx. Got to stick with the team. Always gotta have faith.
Yeah, and also like my bet for this one, I've just as a multi, I just did Nathan Cleary, Isaac Tager, and Ezra Mann, each for a try.
I'll get to my multis at the end.
Oh yeah,
pretty interesting ones, but you can go on with yours though. So
yeah.
Onyx going for the Panthers. I've gone with the Bronx. And then next game, New Zealand Warriors $1.43, Canberra Raiders $2.86. What do you reckon?
I'm gonna go Waz. This one's also a tough one. Honestly, like, I wouldn't go head to head in this one. I would go either team to win 1-12 because I think this will be a close game, especially how the Raiders been playing lately. They've been playing pretty good. Like I like how they look. But for this one, I do have Waz for -1.5, DWZ, and Nick Kotrick for a try.
Was your line 1.5?
Yeah, -1.5.
It's now at -7.5.
Oh no, it's I did an alternate.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Wires,
Hmm.
I just think they're due for a win. They're not gonna leave it later in the season. I reckon they're gonna go out there in front of a packed out house in Christchurch. They go out for a win.
Hmm.
And absolutely, even though the Raiders have been playing good, top of the table, surprisingly, I just think that, Raiders are just letting that luck out way too early. I think
Oh,
there's just a luck. But Wise to get up. Next game, NRL's greatest rivalry. Sydney Roosters $1.96. Sorry, $1.69. South Sydney Rabbitohs $2.17.
yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah. So bunnies were more than this, but they've gone down a bit. So this one, obviously, I got to back my boys, bunnies. Bunnies with this one. Although, like, trying to think of, not being a fan or whatever, trying to think of that mindset. It's 50-50 game for me, but honestly, I do think bunnies need this more. They want it more, I reckon. So this one, I've just gone bunnies head to head. Alex Johnson and the troll for a try, and then over 33 points.
Is that you chose 33 points?
Yeah, I chose.
Okay. Alright. This is actually a tough game for me to pick, but I think I'm gonna go the bunnies just because I reckon even though Jack hasn't played a game, I feel like he's gonna be comfortable already after about 20 minutes. He's gonna feel comfortable with everything. He's gonna start to settle in. He's just gonna tear up that right side of the Roosters because the right side have got Dom Young and I think it's Billy Smith in the centers. I don't know. Whoever their other center, I reckon Jack's just gonna tear them apart. Especially with he'll have Johnston on his left side. Johnson and White will be very, very deadly for the Bunnies this year.
Oh yeah.
So I've gone, especially with Cody Walker, when you've got Cook out of dummy half, Walker at first receiver, like it'll be. So let's just say Bunnies are on the attack. Walker, sorry, Cook half, Cook play the ball, and then Hawkins first receiver, Cody Walker, Trell Mitt, Whiten, Johnson. That just sounds deadly. Like that's four New South Wales players: Cook, Walker, Whiten, Mitchell. That's four New South Welshmen out of that are on that Bunny's side, on the left side. So I just reckon that left side is going to tear apart the Roosters. So I'm going Bunnies head to head. Next game, Saturday Arvo footy. Bulldogs in Belmore $1.80. Titans $2.05. I've gone with the Bulldogs in my prediction head to head.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a tough one. Honestly, if Titans didn't have their outs, their fullback and Fafita, right? Fafita's out.
Fafita and Jaden Campbell, yes, out again.
If they weren't out, I probably would have gone Titans, but they're not. So in this one, I'm going for Bulldogs. So in my multi, just Bulldogs to win, Stephen Cran for a try, and then Matt Burton for 6 or more points.
That is pretty good. So, like I said, going with the Bulldogs, yeah. Cran, I feel like he's going to be in for a big game. I just feel like Cran's going to be a big player.
Yeah.
Against the bottomish teams, he will do good against the top teams. But I just feel like Cran against bottom teams, he just demolishes them.
Oh, yeah.
He just makes them look like they don't even belong in the NRL. He's proven that in recent years. So, Dogs to get up. Next game, St. George Illawarra Dragons versus North Queensland Cowboys. Dragons $3.06, Cowboys $1.38.
So this one, I do think As long as Cowboys don't play like last week, even if they did, I still think they would win. But I think Cowboys should win this one pretty comfortably. So I'm definitely gonna tip the Cowboys. So my multi-ups have them Cowboys 13 plus. This one's a risky one. Carl Felt for first, second, or third, and then Val Holmes for 8 or more points.
It's not bad. I reckon
Mm.
Kyle Felt first, second, or third is risky, but there is actually a possibility of it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys head to head. Like I said earlier on the game preview, just if both teams played like they did last week, it's gonna end up 12-0 to the Cowboys. But I still think the Cowboys will smoke the Dragons, even though Dragons are in for they need a win. But I think Cowboys will pump them. And then finally, end of Saturday night. Tigers $4.20, Sharks $1.23. Fairly obvious. I'm going with Cronulla.
Yeah, Sam, I'm going for Sharkies on this one. I think they also should win pretty heavily, just like the game before that. So I have Sharkies to cover the line, minus 12.5. So basically, they win by more than 13 points. Ronaldo and Katoa for a try.
That's pretty good. I reckon. Sharks should easily cover that line at 12.5.
Oh yeah.
But we're just gonna have to wait and see, I guess. So that's to finish it off. Cronulla to get up, and then we jump into Sunday blockbusters. Parramatta $1.86, Manly $1.98. Big game.
Oh yeah, this is definitely another 50-50 one like Roosters and Bunnies, but I honestly haven't decided head to head on this one. I've gone back and forth. Honestly, toss a coin. Just to make it interesting, I'm gonna go Eels. Honestly, really no reason, just a guess. So that's why in the multi, I think it'll be close. That's why in the multi I've done either team to win by 12 or less. Jackson Paulo for a try. I think Gutherson will sneak one in, so I've also done him for a try. And then Rubik Garrick for 6 or more points. That's paying $11.50, and I'm pretty confident I'll hit. So
That is a good one indeed. But my prediction, I'm gonna go Manly. I just think the way that Manly have been playing, they're like Cronulla. They're looking like a team to beat in 2024. So, and Turbo's gonna play like it did in 21 to win this game.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna go Manly, but barely to beat Parramatta.
Yeah.
And then finishing it off, same odds, Knights slight favourites at $1.86. Melbourne Storm $1.98.
This is also another 50-50
It.
game.
Can't separate them at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Storms on this one. Honestly, I should probably go Knights, but same time, I just can't with the way they've been playing lately. So, just like the game beforehand, not super confident, but I'll go Storms. And this multi I've made is a monster. So I'll try and put it on the screen, but I've basically gone Bradman Best for a try, Will Warbrick for a try, Xavier Coates for a try, Ryan for a try, over 41 points, Kalen Ponga for 6 or more points, and Nick Kamini for 6 or more points. That's paying $45.
That is unreal. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've just gone with it. I just feel like just going for a bunch of try scores. I think it'll be a high scoring game.
That is actually really crazy. But I'm going to go the Newcastle Knights in my prediction. I just think, like I said, the halves are going to be no experience in the Melbourne Storm halves. Newcastle at home. Ponga's going to have a cracker of a match. But I did say that against the Raiders and they did end up losing. But I just feel like this time, the Knights will want to bounce back. They also, like the Bunnies, they don't want to start the season 0-3.
Yeah.
They're actually one of the teams. There's about 7 teams that are 0-3.
Mm.
There's 4 teams that don't want to go 0-3. The Warriors, Knights, Bunnies, Bulldogs.
Mm.
Don't want to start the season at 0-3, so I feel like the Knights don't want to be that team. So Knights are my head-to-head prediction, and my multis for this week start off in the grand final rematch, going over 37.5 points. Mariner and Taruva play A or B anytime. Broncos over 3.5 tries at $6. Wires 1-12. Warriors to cover the line at 7.5. Jordan Rapana and DWZ anytime, all up $7.75. This is a big odd multi. Latrell Mitchell 6+ points, under 39.5. Joey Manu and Cody Walker anytime. Can you guess it all up multi?
Well, I reckon going unders with try scores, that usually bumps it up like fucking crazy, so... Yeah. I don't know. Give it to me.
$75.
Damn.
Larger than the Cowboys one last week, which, fun fact, Cowboys, I had Knights to score 20 exact, Nanai to score, and Tom Dearden to score. No, not Tom Dearden. I had someone else to score. I can't remember who it was, but it would have hit. And I think it was, actually I got it right here. It was Drinkwater to score, Nanai to score, Knights to score 20 exact. Nanai scored, Knights had 20 exact points. Drinkwater didn't score.
Oh.
Multi would have been $68.50 odds. So if Drinkwater would have scored, that multi would have hit.
That's crazy.
Didn't have a single multi. I had one that hit last week, which was Cronulla 13+, under 39.5, and the Sharks to cover the line at 8.5. Cronulla obviously won by 19, so that covers the line, and they won by 13+, and they scored 31 total points, which is under 39.5. So that multi did hit last week, and pretty sure that would have been the only one. In fact, it was, because Tyrell Sloan, I had Tyrell Sloan anytime, Hammerstone anytime, under 45.5, Sarko 6+ points. Get rid of Sloan, that multi would have hit. So $75 for this game is very, very big.
Jesus.
Especially with Trell to score 6+, and 2 try scorers at under 39.5. Big odds right there. If I would have gone overs, it would have dropped all the way down to 15.5.
Yeah.
So the overs have bumped it up $60, which is crazy. And then Bulldogs head to head, Kyle Pereira anytime, Jacob Preston anytime, and Matt Byrne 4+ points, $12.25. Bit of a low one here. Cowboys 13+. I did go Cowboys to cover the line at 8.5, but it dropped it down 17 cents, so I thought there's no point. So I replaced it with Holmes 8+ points, over 42.5 at $3.75. Bit of a low multi, but I do feel like it's a safe one.
Yeah.
And in this game, Tigers Sharks under 44.5, with the Sharks winning by 13+. Olam anytime, Ronaldo anytime at $46.50. So another big multi there. Parramatta and Manly over 41.5. Garrick with 8+ points. Ruben Garrick anytime. Ola Kawatu anytime at $13.50. And then final game. I did have unders in the first place, but I decided to change it once I added in the extra bets. So over 40.5 match points. Ponga to get 6+ points. Meaney to get 6+ points. Braden Best, Kellen Ponga, Harry Grant anytime try scorers. All up multi at $38.75.
Ooh.
So a lot of big multis. Definitely a lot of risk, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, this is definitely a risky round for betting.
100%, especially with Cody Walker and Joey Manu. But if that can happen, $75, mate, I don't want to fail by one leg on the biggest multi of the round. But I'm feeling
That's how it
confident in a couple of
goes.
these
That's how it
games.
goes usually.
I know. I mean, I proved that in the Ravens and the Rams a couple of months ago, which was like a $70 to $50 payout, $75 payout.
Don't remind me of that. Please don't remind me of that. That hurts still.
It does hurt still, but if Lamar decided to pass and not rush for a touchdown, so I don't blame him. He carried us to a AFC Championship game, but safe multi, my guarantee multi that I reckon will hit. I think I got to play it safe and go with my cheapest bet with the Cowboys 13 plus, Holmes 8 plus points and over 42.5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the overs though. I just not 100% sure. I could either way change it to unders. It still says at $3.75. So there's not really much of a difference. But for now, I'm going to stay with the overs just because I reckon Dragons will score a fair amount and the Cowboys score a lot of points. So for now, I'm sticking with that. So that's my multi. Your multi's done. And this episode is done. It is 12:30 in the morning. I just want some sleep. I'm tired as you. Yeah, we've got stuff to do tomorrow, but this has been Sports on Tap, episode 4. What I am actually thinking of doing though, find myself going over Australian sports for the week. So covering NRL, AFL, and NBL and all that by myself. I'm thinking about it. So, I don't know, we'll have to get back to that. But that's been episode 4. Like I said, it's 12:30 night. I want to go to bed.
Oh, yeah.
Finish it off, Onyx.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. I know I said that this video will be better edited, but the game's on in fucking 17 hours and I am got work in like 6 hours or whatever. I'm fucked. So I'll try and edit it a little bit better, but honestly, that might have to hold off until next week.
Hopefully we can get it up before game time.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I should be able to get it up beforehand. Yeah.
This will definitely be up on Spotify.
Yeah.
Well before the game anyway. So, like I said, 12:30. I want to get some sleep.
Yeah.
This has been Sports on Tap podcast. We'll see you next week, Wednesday night or Thursday morning for episode number 5 with our recaps and previews. Take care, boys. See you next week.
Catch you later.